I want to make a little video today. I was in a mood to be talkative a little bit, but not a whole lot. So I decided to hop on here and talk about what I have been reading lately and show what other book I got today in the mail, and I plan on reading it. So first off, I got this book. It's called The Untold Story of Louisa May Alcott and Her Mother, Marmee and Louisa. As you know, Louisa May Alcott wrote Little Women, she wrote Little Men, she wrote Flower Fables, she wrote Hospital Sketches, and many other stories. She wrote lots of poetry. She was in the women's rights movement back in the 1800s. She did a lot of good things in her time. I've been studying on Louisa because she is my favorite writer, and I love all her work. I've read nearly everything she's written, and I want to know more. I read her personal journal. That book cost me about $40 for that. I didn't do a review on it because at the time I didn't really have time to review it. This has a lot of her journal information from her journal, and this too. One of her family members got to pour through the personal letters and stuff of the family and wrote it all down in the journal book, whatever journal, in a book of what she learned about the family. And it's really interesting on the history and facts. And the reason why there's not a lot of information on Louisa's mother is because before she died, she told her family she wanted her personal journals burnt and destroyed. So there's journals on Louisa. They had her journals and they're kept at Harvard University. Then there's journals on Bronson Alcott, which is Louisa's father, and his journals are still about, some of them, not all of them. But Marmee's was removed, as well as her stories. Actually, Louisa's mother used to write stories as well. Her name is Abigail. And I don't know if you know this, you may know this about history, but in the 1800s, women's suffrage was going on. And women didn't have a lot of rights back then. And back then, women were not allowed to read. Women were not allowed to write. So that's why, like, when Jane Eyre was written and all the other stories, a lot of times those stories were written in secret and in hiding because women weren't supposed to write. It was forbidden because to men, if women got more knowledge and stuff, they didn't want them reading. But Louisa's father, Bronson Alcott, he was all for women's rights. He gifted his daughter a journal at a very young age and told his daughter to write freely, write with your heart, express yourself, and be bold. And her mother told her that too. Like, for Christmas, I couldn't believe it. Like, they were so poor. They were so poor that one year, Louisa wrote in her journal about what she got. And all she got was a bonbon candy. She got a piece of fruit, and she got a poem from her mother that her mother wrote her. And that was all she got in her stocking for Christmas, and she was thrilled to have a poem and a bonbon from her mother. And I'm just thinking, wow, this generation wouldn't be pleased with just getting a poem from their mother for Christmas. But this family is pretty amazing, and I am halfway through the story. I've learned a lot about not just Louisa, but her mother as well. So I want to hop on and talk about it. And I journal every day because back then a lot of women couldn't do that, and I just keep doing that because women couldn't do that back then. You should get this book. It's really good. And then I got this in the mail. I'll be reading it. It's his biography, Could It Be Forever, David Cassidy. So that's going to be on my to-read list. And before I had bought this, I'm going to read before that one because that's the order I got them. This is about the real Princess Anastasia and her sisters. And I bought that around Christmas time. So I've been really looking forward to reading that once I finish. I usually have books done by now, but I haven't had a lot of time to read, so I've been reading late at night. But this is getting a bit long, but if you like Little Women and you want to know more about her family, this is a really good read to dive into and get